if you're not buying a brand new house, if your clients aren't buying a brand new house, probably going to be something that comes up in the inspection report that the insurance company doesn't like. So having somebody like Tony be able to bounce ideas off of, be able to get quotes when you need them, and be able to get that customer service for your client is a really great relationship to have. So yeah.
I'm really down the street if anybody needs me.
Yeah, he's right there.
Oh, wow.
Right there. Thank you again, sir.
I can walk here.
Yes.
I'll see everybody later. See you next month.
All right. Now I want to switch gears here for a second. Well, a few minutes. Who can tell me what is the #1 indicator of your real estate agent's success?
Appointments.
What was that? I can't hear you.
Appointments.
Appointments. That's right. Appointments. So I want to get into that with you guys today a little bit. Who can tell me what an appointment is?
Going and meeting with the person.
Say that again.
Going and meeting with the person.
Yeah.
Setting
You got my mic? Your mic? It's a meeting with a person. What kind of person?
a potential, any seller or buyer, right?
Could be seller or buyer. Yep.
That's it.
It's anytime you meet with somebody who wants to discuss buying or selling real estate, right? If you're a for-sale owner, green expired, you referral, if somebody you met in an open house to go show them the house, and bring them in and do a buyer's consultation. Anytime you're meeting with someone new to discuss buying or selling real estate, that is what we consider an appointment. Who here has an appointment goal for the next week? Only 2 of you? 3 of you?
Goal.
4 of you? 5 of you? Okay, appointments are, they're like, if you had to forget everything else and make your job as simple as possible, the #1 thing that you should be thinking every single day is, what am I going to do today to get an appointment today? Forget your open house, don't forget the open houses. But put everything else to the side, social media, open houses, cold calls, door knocking, sphere of influence, texting, emails, put all that stuff over here, like in the back of your brain. The thing on the front of your brain should be, what am I going to do today to get an appointment today? Every single day, that should be the #1 thing on your mind. Is what am I going to do to get in front of somebody new who wants to buy or sell real estate and talk with them about buying or selling real estate? Who knows the percentage of how many people go with the first agent they meet with? 70%. 70% of buyers and sellers choose the first agent they meet with. What does that tell us? That tells us be the first one. It tells us that getting the appointment is more important than being perfect. Now I'm going to go over with you guys today how to be perfect. But the most important thing is you just get the appointment. Get the dang appointment. Every day, get the appointment. If you're the one showing up every single day and getting appointments every single day, you'll be the one getting business. So we know that 70% of people choose the first agent they go with. Who can tell me the statistic for how many times you need to contact, or we call it touch points, right? How many times do you need to touch a buyer or a seller before you should expect a contract?
11.
11. Good job. Good job. Yes. 11. So if you're going on these appointments, #1, you need to be closing every single time. But if you're going on these appointments and you're expecting to walk away with a contract every single time, kudos to you for the confidence. We've got to be realistic. It takes 11 touches before you should start to think about, don't ever give up. But before you start to think about moving that person to the nurture side of your CRM, right? So 11 contacts. So if you call the for-sale owner, you set the appointment, that's 1. You go out there and you meet with them, that's 2. You follow up with them, they don't want to list yet. How many of you quit right there? Come on, be honest. How many of you have quit right there? I have, tons of times. You still have 8 more contacts before you should be expecting something from this person. So don't quit there. You need to call them, text them, email them, meet them again at their house, door knock them, just show up randomly and bring them something of value. So 11 contacts. Today I want to go over with you guys, so we know the importance of appointments, right? It's the lifeblood of your business. I can tell you, like, okay, who here has more than 1 appointment set over the next couple of weeks? Does anybody have 1 appointment set? Okay, good. 4 or 5 here? Okay, does anybody have more than 2? Wow, that was a bad cutoff. guarantee you, Cleo's, I would put my money that Cleo's going to do more deals than everybody else because she has the most clients. Does that make sense? All right, so now what to do when we're getting to the appointment? Everybody have one of these? Everybody got a sheet? So the answers are already there. But the first thing you need to do is you need to be prepared for the appointment. That's kind of vague. But you need to be prepared. Who remembers the research triangle for Royal Academy? Before you go to a seller appointment, what's the research triangle? 3 things that you need to research before you go to the appointment. What does the CMA tell us?
Value of the house.
So the house, number 1, that's the first research. That's the first part of your research. Is you need to learn everything you can about the house. What's number 2? The community. Yes, that's number 2 or number 3, whatever. Doesn't matter. That's one of the 3. So we said,
Yes.
in preparing for your appointment, you need to know everything you can possibly know about the house, everything you can possibly know about the community. And what's the last one?
Seller.
The seller. That's right. Somebody like, wait a second. How do I learn about the seller? How do you think? Facebook, Google, Instagram, whatever. Search them up. You might be able to find something, you might not. You can do a discovery call before your first appointment, right? You can try to get some of that information. It might be difficult to get, because at that point, you're still a stranger to them. But if you can get information from them about what's important to them over the phone, do so. So before you show up to an appointment, the 3 things that you need to have is all the information about the house, all the information about the community, and all the information about the seller. So knowing about the house is pretty self-explanatory, right? Anybody trying to sell anything, they need to know what their product is. The community, again, that's another thing that you're selling. Knowing everything about the community is part of the product that you're selling with that house. The local shops, the restaurants, communities, it's a community pool, CDA schools are huge. Especially if there's within X schools, but that's something you're going to market to the public. And then the seller is important. Who here has the infographic on the different generations? I've sent it out before. Some of you are newer. The infographic, have you seen it before? Can we get that to everybody? It should be a man file. I haven't seen it somewhere. So there's an infographic that shows, okay, here's what Gen Z is looking for and how they explain themselves. Here's, millennials. Here's boomers, and then here's the silent generation, and whatever all the generations. And how you should kind of deal with it, right? You're going to assume that if you're selling a millennial's house, what would you assume about a millennial?
They want more city.
I'm a millennial, 29 to like 30 something. Most have a lot of that. What was that? A millennial is somebody who spends a lot of time on, they've grown up in the technology boom, they spend a lot of time on social media. Pretty close to Gen Zs. So what do you think is going to be important to them?
You mean from the seller standpoint? Instagram, photos.
Your social media marketing. Your social media marketing is going to be important to a millennial or a Gen Z if you get somebody who's almost Gen Z. What about a baby boomer? What do we think about that? Do you think they're going to care so much about social media? They might. I mean, don't ever assume, you can make some assumptions, but don't ever, write those in stones. What was that? Yeah, most people are on Facebook. Right? Facebook is the most popular social media app with the most users. Okay, so that's why it's important to know about the seller, is because we want to know what may or may not be important to them. Also in your Facebook research or your Google research, you might see if they have kids. So, you can probably assume that there's going to be certain times of the day where they've got to pick up the kids from school, or they've got, certain things that are going to prevent them from being able to show the house. So that's why it's important. So going prepared is half the battle. So what do we bring with us? Here's the checklist right here. You said the CMA. Everybody knows what the CMA is, right? Comparative market analysis, literally just all the details on the sold properties, the pending properties, and the active properties that are in that neighborhood or near that house. This is what will tell you the price range of what that house should sell. We also have the seller's net sheet. So this is super important. This, making sure you bring a seller's net sheet, not just one, but always bring 3 to every listing appointment, is super important in handling one of the most popular objections, which is, you can tell me what the most popular objection is if you don't sell it. Commission. How much am I? Yeah, commission, right? Them paying a commission. So the seller's net sheet, bring out every appointment. I usually bring, if I have a price range, let's just say 350 to 450. I'll bring one at 350. I'll bring one at 400, and I'll bring one at 450.
You ever leave it with them?
Always. Yeah. I'm gonna get to that. So there's actually a lot that you're gonna leave there. So we said the CMA, the seller's net sheet, and then the full listing presentation. Who here already has a listing presentation laminated?
I do. Unfortunately, I got the older ones, so I got.
That's okay. The older ones work just fine.
I'm gonna do those.
Dozens and dozens of listings from the older ones. We're remaking, a better branded one for you guys. But have these printed out and laminated. You can go to Office Depot or Staples. You get these laminated. This is what you're gonna bring. You're gonna say, all right. So as you know, I work with Royal Realty. Here's a little bit about us. Here's what we're gonna do. Here's where your house is gonna go on the market. We're gonna get professional photos. We're gonna do virtual staging. So on and so forth, right? On and on and on and on. And we practice those every Friday. So make sure you come on Fridays to practice the actual listing presentation itself. Today we're kind of just going over an overview because I want you guys today, hopefully to have the motivation as soon as we're done, to start going after appointments today, every day. So, CMA, seller's net sheets, the full listing presentation with you, listing agreements and disclosures. And then you'll see here something a little extra. Cupcakes, cookies, something nice, a gesture, right? Something nice that will set you apart from the other agent who's probably showing up tomorrow. Right? There's all these little things. You guys always hear me talk about the winning edge. Something extra that you do that sets you apart from other people. And it's not usually something crazy or something big. It's oftentimes just these little things, like bringing cupcakes or cookies to this presentation. Professional appearance. Unfortunately, I know you guys have always been told don't judge a book by its cover, but we all judge books by their covers. You walk into a house and the person sees you for the first time, they're assuming just as much about you as you're assuming about them. So it's important that we dress the part. Think of yourself as an attorney. How would you want your attorney to dress? If you walked into the dentist and they were wearing jorts and and a ripped shirt, and you're like, oh God, there's some dentist have a string over there, right? So dress the part. Shave your beard. Make sure it's trimmed up. You can have a beard, and just make sure you shave your neck and keep it clean, keep it neat. Ladies, hopefully you don't have beards. Put deodorant on. I know. This is obvious, right? But you'd be surprised. Put deodorant on. Brush your teeth before you go. Maybe bring some gum with you, or I have mouthwash. I'll bring mouthwash or Tic Tacs. Something everything matters. Everything matters, and it matters mostly for you. Because if you go in and you're like, I wonder if my breath stinks, and you start getting in your own head, right? You start narrating against myself. Let me not talk too much because I don't want them to smell my breath, right? Or I wonder, I didn't shave my neck this morning. This is a real problem we have, guys. Right? I didn't shave my neck going on, or my mustache is my whiskers, or your nose hairs. People see that kind of stuff. So professional appearance is super duper important. You'd be surprised how many real estate agents don't even take that part seriously. All of you guys are good. But extra sharp when you show up to appointments. So we already said knowing the property, knowing the seller, knowing the community. Let's talk about some common objections. What do we hear? Who here's gone on an appointment in the last week, 2 weeks? What do we hear? What are some objections?
I don't think I'm ready yet.
I'm not ready yet. Okay. The house isn't clean. That's what kept them from listening? I like that. Yeah, I like that mindset.
They had a bad experience with the real estate agent. They went,
Trust.
yeah.
The market, worried about the market. There's a lot of, we're going to hear objections on most appointments you go on, you're going to hear an objection. It's your job to know how to eat objections for breakfast. You guys have got to be salespeople. You got to become animals when it comes to these objections. You got to learn how to sell. Oftentimes, the commission objection just boils down to the net sheet. That's why I say bring the net sheets. The commission objection, okay, I totally understand want to make the most amount of money from your property. We both share the same goal to sell your property for the most amount of money possible. I showed you homes A, B, and C. Those are the ones that sold for the most amount of money in your neighborhood. The one thing that they all had in common was they were all listed with a real estate agent. I can tell you that most people who sell on their own sell for 14% less, even after paying a commission, and they sell it for like 30 times slower. So there's all these great statistics that will help you. This is real, right? This is why you guys have a job. This is why we can go out there and actually help people. Is because they are better off listing with you if you're a professional, right? There's other people that they'd probably be better off not listing with themselves on their own. But us in this room, they are better off with you because you know what you're doing, practice this, you're good at marketing, and you're a professional. So make sure you guys show up on Fridays. We do the social media stuff. We do objection handling, listing presentations. Commissions often boil down to just showing them your value, which comes out in the listing slides, in the listing presentation, and it comes out in the seller's net sheet. One of the easiest ones to remember, and you got to be careful how you say it because you don't want to sound cocky or aggressive. But Mr. Seller, I understand wanting to make the most amount of money when you sell your property. Let me ask you, if I can net you what you're wanting to walk away with, do you care how much money I get paid? Everybody remember that? If I can get you what you want to walk away with, do you care how much money I get paid? Answer that question. Does anybody here own a house or a car? I don't know anything. You own anything that? Okay. If I can sell that thing for you for what you want, whatever that number is, do you care how much I make if I get you what you want? Right? Now, that may or may not be true. You obviously don't say that if it's not true. If they're saying, if they have a $300,000 house and they want $1 million for it, you probably wouldn't use that with them because the truth is where they're nowhere close, right? So you've got a different conversation. But if the reality is, because you've ran the numbers, you have a seller's net sheet, you've probably asked them at this point that they've told you what they want to walk away with, you probably know if you can get them what they want. You just got a good feeling. So, that line is true. What was the other one? Trust. They had a bad experience in the past. You hear that all the time. Bad experience in the past. There's bad apples in every industry, right? That's usually my one line. I like that. There's bad apples in every industry, right? There's bad attorneys, there's bad doctors, there's bad realtors, there's certain people that don't do the industry justice. It doesn't mean that we're all bad. Take a look at my brokerage's reputation, right? You can show them if you know that that's an issue. You can show them our reviews. You can show them a little bit about us. It just means you really haven't built that rapport yet. You need to build a little bit more rapport. And you got to understand that if especially trust is an issue, it might take 20 touches before this person converts. So, that is one of the easier objections to get past if you're willing to spend the time building that relationship with them. What was the other one? The house wasn't clean. Hey, that's all right. If that's the only thing holding us back, why don't we get the process started by signing the paperwork today? And I'll get some cleaners out here tomorrow for it's only like $100. I'll pay for it. Or is there something else holding that? Usually, when someone throws an objection at you, it's usually like a facade to their real objection. Does that make sense? Most objections actually boil down to commission or trust. Right? They need to trust that you're the best person for the job. And part of getting them to trust that is the way you show up. You appear to them, your presentation, and how confidently you advise them when not going on appointments or you're just closed every time? Which one is it? Okay, we all have gone on an appointment and not gone through the close, right? At the end of the appointment, we're like, oh, they'll call me, I'll just leave. They'll, call me when you're ready, right? Who's here said that? Call me when you're ready. So, at the end of every appointment, even though we know in the back of our mind, it's going to take me 11 times, 11 contacts before I can get this listing, we need to close. And the closing statement is simple. I'd be honored to represent you in the sale of your home. Are you ready to get the process started by signing the paperwork today? And they will either say yes, which they probably won't. Like maybe 1 out of 10 times they'll say yes. The other 9 times they're going to say, well, will you cut your commission? Will you, we need to think about it, or, we're still going to meet with another agent, or, my cousin's a realtor, or, there's always an objection, usually. That's why it's super duper important. You guys practice the objection handling techniques. But we're going to practice it together right now, okay? You're just going to repeat after me. I'd be honored to represent you in the sale of your home. Are you ready to get the process started? By signing the paperwork today. All right, one more time. I'd be honored to represent you in the sale of your home. Are you ready to get the process started by signing the paperwork today? Practice that in the mirror, like put your best clothes on, get real serious, look yourself in the eye. Smile really big.
I'm not the mirror.
I'd be honored to represent you in the sale of your home. Are you ready to get the process started? I've said this a million times. So, eventually you save enough time to remember it. And you're going to hit it, right? They're going to hit you with an objection. Then you're going to handle that objection. And you're going to give it one more try. You're going to say, well, if I can take that away and make a perfect scenario, would you be ready to get the process started by signing the paperwork today? Because that's kind of the root of objection handling is taking away the thing that they're scared of, creating a quote-unquote perfect scenario, and then going for the close again. So one more time. So I would say, I'd be honored to represent you in the sale of your home. We're ready to get the process started. That's not going to be again. Oh, we need to think about it. I go, okay, well tell me, what is it that is holding you back from getting started? And they would say, oh, well, it's ABC. And then I would say, well, if I could solve ABC by doing X, Y, Z, then would you be ready to get the process started by signing the paperwork today? And they would say, well, yeah, how would you do that? And I would elaborate. So, here's how I do that. What do you think? Ready to get it started? You know what? Yeah, let's do it. Or they go, we still need to think about it. What's another really important thing that we never do when we're at an appointment? This one's complex.
Talk bad about others.
That's one thing. Absolutely. We'll talk about other people, other agents. But what's the most important thing when building a relationship with a client? That is very important, yes. Looking for this one word.
Rapport.
Thank you. Rapport. So what do we never do? Break rapport. And you got to be very careful because that is important. There's this balance between closing somebody and not breaking rapport. If you push too hard, you'll break rapport, and they won't trust you anymore because they think you're just too salesy. Right? Don't be afraid of being too salesy. But my rule of thumb is twice. Always go for the close twice. So, are you ready to get the process started by signing paperwork today? ABC, X, Y, Z. If I can do that, would you be ready to get the process started by signing the paperwork today? No? Okay, no problem. Let's figure it out. We'll put it on, we'll take this next step, we'll do this next thing, and then we'll go from there. We'll try to never,
More than twice, yeah.
2. Yeah, that's it. I stop at 2. Because I don't want to get out of rapport with everybody. All right, guys, thank you for coming today. I want you guys, right now, this very second, start thinking in your own head and write it down on the blank space right here. Write it down. What am I going to do today? Today. To get an appointment today. Every day. All right, write it down. What you're going to do every single day. get an appointment today.